Hey everybody, welcome to another video. Today we're doing a comparison between the DMT Extra course and the silicon carbide with the leveling kit that you can get from Edge Pro. So before I begin, this isn't a video as to determine which one works, because they both work, and whichever one you choose to buy, you're going to achieve the same results. This is just a video giving you my opinion and my perspective on the pros and cons of each one, and which one I personally like, which one works best for me. So if you have any comments, or if you want to contribute to this matter, maybe something I missed, then by all means blow up the comment section and let me know your thoughts. So I also want to say that I'm not sponsored by anybody, and I didn't receive any of this for free. Not that it matters, because I would still give you my honest and unbiased perspective, but I just think it's important to know that. If I ever receive something for free that I'm reviewing, I'll start the video off by letting you know, hey, they sent me this, and here's what I think about it. So let's get in on the silicon carbide. This is a 60 grit powder, and right off the bat, I like the plate that it comes on. It comes on a glass plate with rubber backing. It's a fairly heavy-duty plate, and what it does is it provides a perfectly flat surface. This flat surface is great not only for for leveling your stones, but also if you have an Edge Pro and you need to mount it somewhere, the little suction cups stick to it great, and it becomes very portable. So you can mount it to that glass panel and not worry about it. This is the DMT Extra course. This is a 120 grit lapping plate, basically. They got a lot of different options. This particular one's recommended for dressing your stones. And if you have ceramic stones, natural stones, if you have aluminum oxide stones, then dressing them is just part of the maintenance of your stones. And so it's just something you have to do. If you have diamond stones, then generally they don't require any type of dressing or lapping, with the exception of the diamond matrix stones that Edge Pro has. And what I'll do is I'll make a separate video on how to maintain the diamond matrix stones. This is a little too aggressive, even the silicon carbide, a little too aggressive for the diamond matrix stones. And so, although when I made this video, those options weren't available yet, and I did end the video with dressing the 2300 diamond matrix stone, but I wouldn't do it again. So I now have the capability of dressing those stones properly, and like I said, we'll do a separate video on that. So as I'm dressing this particular stone, I'm noticing right off the bat that the DMT Extra course is actually working a little bit quicker for me. And when I say quicker, I'm talking seconds. 20 seconds, 30 seconds. And so the difference isn't enormous. It's not like I'm working the silicon carbide for minutes. The silicon carbide I think took 60 seconds, whereas the DMT probably took 30 seconds. And so both of them achieved exactly the same results. Just one did it in half the amount of time. And so now we're going to go ahead with the 1000 grit on the silicon carbide. And for me, convenience is incredibly important. Easeability of use is incredibly important. And I'm finding that the silicon carbide is a little cumbersome. It requires a flat surface, and in this particular case, this plate is probably by far the best way to do it, unless you have a better way to do it, but you're still going to require some place to do it. You're not going to want to do this on your countertops, because it's just going to scratch them all to pieces. And so, you have to pull out the plate. You have to get the silicon carbide, you have to wet it, and then you need to figure out what are you going to do with the silicon carbide after you're done using it. Most people will just put the whole plate up, and just next time they pull it out, go ahead and add a little more water. But now you have to have space for a glass plate with silicon carbide, and you have to cover it to make sure that no contaminants get inside of it. And so it's a little cumbersome. It works, but it's not the most user-friendly. Now, whereas I look at the DMT, and here you have something that's incredibly user-friendly. It's 8 inches by 3 inches, so it takes up a very small footprint. It just requires a tiny little bit of water, and so you can have it next to you while you're sharpening it, and it not take up a whole lot of space, and very quickly pop your stone on it. 30 seconds later, you're back in business in the event that it's glazed or dished. And so if I had to pick silicon carbide Edge Pro leveling kit versus DMT Extra course, solely on the category of usability, the DMT is definitely my pick. So they both work, although the DMT is a little bit faster, but not by much. We're talking 30 seconds. The easeability of use, for me, the DMT is smaller, more compact, easily to wash away, and lasts an incredibly long time. When you're leveling stones, you're really busting off any of the diamonds. Now, I got to mention that the silicon carbide also lasts a long time. If you store it properly, you can continue to reuse it over and over again. Now, with that being said, I never really had a good place to store it, and so I tossed the silicon carbide after each use and used the plate to actually mount my Edge Pro. Okay, so now we get to price. Look, there's no question when you're looking at the DMT Extra course 8x3 versus the leveling kit, or simply a half-pound bag of silicon carbide, there's an enormous price difference. The silicon carbide is only going to cost a fraction of what the DMT plate costs. For me, here's where I stand. I choose the DMT because it's not only exceptionally good as a stone dressing plate or a lapping plate, but it's also very multifunctional. I can use this to work on ceramic knives. If I'm freehanding and I want to remove a lot of metal very, very quickly, I can use this plate. I can also use some of the other series that they have and sharpen knives with it. And so, whereas the silicon carbide is exclusively used for flattening your stones and dressing your stones. And so, each one has their place. But like I said, for me, I choose the DMT Extra course. But I'd love to know your thoughts. Let me know what you think. I'm going to put a link in the description below where you can check out the DMT at a great price, by the way, or you can check out the Edge Pro silicon carbide leveling kit, or just the silicon carbide itself, and you can kind of figure out which one you prefer. So thanks for watching this video. Don't forget to subscribe, and we'll see you in the kitchen.